Hello everyone, it's Robin the Delta Crafter, and I want to thank you for joining me for another holiday crafts video on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making some Christmas cards using the brand new Postage Edge Dies from Spellbinders. Let's take a look at what we're going to be using for these cards today. We'll be using the Postage Edge oval dies. You can see there are several dies in this set. The variety of sizes gives you lots of options of how you can use them. We're going to be using the Twinkle Lights hot foil plate. We're also going to be using the Elegant Holiday Glimmer plates. It's the holiday season, so you know I'm going to pull out my layered Poinsettia dies. We're going to be using those today on our card. For all of the hot foil plates, we'll be using this gold glimmer foil from Spellbinders. And I decided to pair that gold foil with some beautiful shades of blue. So we're going to be using Whirly Pop and Candy Pearls blue cardstock. All of this is from Basil. We're also going to be using some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White in 80-pound weight, as well as a few other decorations that'll show up later in the video. Let's go ahead and get started. So I've decided to use the second and third dies from this set, and we're going to cut out an inset from our card panel. And then we're going to be layering things behind that. So I've already gone ahead and taped my second and third ovals together. Now you'll notice that these are not necessarily exactly symmetrical, but that's okay for what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to tape those to my card base. Again, this is Neenah Classic Crest Solar White in the 80-pound weight. So I'm taping those dies to the card panel, and I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And what we're going to get is kind of two frames and then a solid oval in the middle. So what we're going to use for the card is that outer oval frame. So it kind of looks like an old-fashioned bubble frame, and then we're going to use that inner oval that has the postage edge to it. While I'm in the die cutting mood, I'm going to go ahead and die cut my poinsettias. So you can see here I've been already using these quite a bit this holiday season because they're all still taped together. This makes it easy for me to place them on a piece of cardstock and run them through my die cutting machine and get the results that I want. So that's exactly what I'm about to do right now. And you can see I'm coming back with my poinsettia, my layers already all cut out. So let's go ahead and get ready to do our hot foiling. So I'm bringing in that gold glimmer foil, and I'm going to cut it down to match the size of this Twinkle Lights plate. This is a fantastic plate to have in your stash if you're into foiling because it's so universal. It can be used for the holidays like we're about to do here. It can be used for birthdays. It can be used on a thank you card. Whatever the case may be, this is a great plate to have. So I'm going to roll out a little bit of foil and kind of size it up and make a cut on the foil so I can kind of cut it down to the size that I need. All of the products that I'm using today will be listed and linked below in the description box, as well as on my coordinating blog post. Be sure to check it out. Now I'm going to trim down this gold foil because it's wider than my plate. And so in order to avoid some overfoiling, I'm going to trim this foil down to be more in line with the size of the plate. This is a great tip that will keep you from, like I said, having overfoiling and causing you any headache in the long run. So I'm going to make my sandwich with the pretty side of the foil kissing the pretty side of my plate. And then I'm going to use some mint tape to tape all of the pieces together. So I'm going to tape the plate, the foil, and the cardstock all together to make a little sandwich. Mint tape is a great tape to use for this. It doesn't leave any residue behind when it gets heated up by the glimmer machine. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my sentiment sandwich with that same gold foil and get that ready to go as well. So in order to get that Twinkle Lights design across my entire panel, I'm going to have to run that through on my glimmer machine twice. So I already know that, so I'm prepared for that as well. So again, I'm going to bring in some mint tape. I'm going to make my sandwich and get everything ready to go. Trim off that excess foil, and now it's time to run them through the Glimmer machine. So I'm going to run the Twinkle Lights plate through the Glimmer machine and through my die cutting machine first. So the Glimmer machine is the machine that provides the heat so that the foil can be transferred to your cardstock. And then your die cutting machine is going to apply the pressure to press that foil into your cardstock. So I put my thin shim as well as my cover plate onto my hot foil plate sandwich. Ran it through the Glimmer machine, let the cycle run. Then I took it over to my die cutting machine. And now I'm back and it's time to reveal the first run of the foiling with the Twinkle Lights plate. So I'm going to peel back that foil. Get my plate warming up as we go. And there we have, you can see the hot foil has been pressed into our cardstock. So this little piece right here, we're not going to throw that away. We're going to, at a later date, I'm going to use that and create an additional panel from the negative and get a 2-for-1 from my foil. So remember that piece of foil that I cut off initially when I was setting up my sandwich? That's what I brought in now to set up a second sandwich to run that Twinkle Lights plate through again. The Twinkle Lights plate has an irregular edge, so you can kind of line it up where you have some of the dots that are kind of working in between each other. So I'm going to run again with my thin shim and my my cover plate. I'm going to press the button, wait until it turns solid like you see there at the bottom. And then I'm going to take it over again and run it through my die cutting machine. That's going to add that pressure, and that's going to transfer the foil to my cardstock. Hot foiling is the perfect way to add some sparkle and shine to your holiday creations. So now that we're done with that panel, I've moved on to the sentiment, and I've already run that through all the steps of the hot foiling. So now it's time to reveal. It's so pretty. Now I did have a little bit of overfoiling on this with this sentiment pointing out here, just little bitty bits of gold that I can see on the on that panel there. So when you have some overfoiling, a Tombow Mono Sand Eraser is your best friend. You just rub that sand eraser lightly across the areas where you have that overfoiling, and it's going to remove the overfoiling without destroying your cardstock. This is the best tip that I can give you for removing overfoiling. So now it's time for us to go ahead and assemble our oval frame and the Twinkle Lights hot foiled panel behind it. So I found the best way to do this and to adhere these two panels together is to use some thin double-sided tape. So I'm just going to place a line of this thin double-sided tape along the edges, and I'm going to peel back the backer, and I'm going to lay this over our Twinkle Lights panel. So now we can see our oval of Twinkle Lights coming through the back, from the back rather. Press that down and secure it in place. And then we're going to move on to our Postage Edge oval insert. For this design of this card, I just wanted a tiny bit of the navy blue hot foiled panel to be peeking through. So I'm going to have this Postage Edge oval insert kind of popped up with some foam tape. I put a couple of pieces on the back of it. I'm pulling the backer tape off, and I'm going to use my tweezers to kind of line this up so that I make sure that my placement is exactly where I want it to be. And tweezers, reverse tweezers are your best tool to use to accomplish this. So once I've gotten it in the place that I want it to be, I went ahead and pressed it down, and we were ready to move on to the next step. So off camera, I went ahead and spritzed our poinsettia with some gold spritz spray. I've assembled it, glued it all together. kind of bent the leaves a little bit, the petals a little bit to give them a little bit of dimension. And now I'm going to come in with some gold baubles from Studio Katia and place those in the middle of our poinsettia. To secure my poinsettia to the card panel, I'm going to use some Barely Arts liquid adhesive. And I'm just going to glue that down and lightly press it so that it adheres to the panel. I really am loving the way this is coming together. So now that I have the card panel all together, now it's time to secure it to our card base. This is some Accent Opaque 120-pound weight cardstock that I've used for a top folding card base. I've also put some double-sided adhesive onto my card base, and I'm securing my card panel to it. And with that, this card is complete. I hope you all have enjoyed this video and are enjoying my holiday craft series. If you are, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. I would love to have you join the Delta Crafter family here on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to stop by my blog, thedeltacrafter.com, for more information on this card and other projects that I'm working on. I was in such a mood and having so much fun with this card, this design, that I went ahead and made an additional card using pink cardstock as well as silver foil. Again, all of these products will be listed and linked below, as well as on the coordinating blog post. Thank you all so much for spending this time with me. Happy holidays, and as always, enjoy.